What's up, fam? Welcome into the channel. I was trying to get my thumbnail done. I'm so tired right now. This wasn't even the video that I was going to do today. But when I got home from recording some of that video in the store, before I could even edit that video, I just walked into a whole mess with my dog. So, how are y'all? Welcome in. Thanks for being here. I see y'all coming in. I appreciate it. Somebody already saying which city. We are going to get into the city. Okay. And this has been going on for a long time and it's expected to get worse. I even have video that I actually saw the documentary on PBS years ago. But with things happening and these state of emergencies happening a lot in this particular city, I said, let me just do a video on this and let's talk about it for a minute. But this is going to be a quick video because I can hear my dog around there whining now. I can't get nothing done. I can't. And plus, I need to get some stuff together to hit the road to go to my child's orientation this weekend. Hey, my Renaissance. Hey, Irma. Hey, Mac. How are you? So you see the screen. I'm going to read some of this article and then I'm going to show you the news video of how bad it is becoming. So heavy rain and life-threatening flooding hit Florida, of course, South Florida, prompting the governor to declare a state of emergency. This was on Thursday. Multiple community, but the rain is expected for several more days, so it's gonna get worse. Multiple communities across South Florida, including the Miami and Fort Lauderdale area, flooded Wednesday amid bouts of torrential rain that prompted the state's governor to declare a state of emergency and stranded drivers across the region. Flood warnings are in effect Wednesday night for parts of Broward, Miami-Dade, Collier, and Hendry counties through Thursday morning, according to the National Weather Service, which warned life-threatening flooding was ongoing. Flood watches were also extended for Miami and Fort Lauderdale until Friday evening. Many areas are inundated with water, with stalled cars, and more rainfall is on the way, according to the Weather Service. Stay off the roadway is what they're saying. Footage on social media showed water levels in the area reaching to vehicles' windows and filling up parking decks and neighborhood streets. In Miami, video shows stranded cars that were nearly entirely submerged underwater. It's the second consecutive day the Miami area has faced down flooding issues. Storms dropped 2 to 5 inches in some areas of rain and flooded streets on Tuesday. In Hallandale Beach, where footage showed one man kayaking among cars as high water floods parts of the city. Officials urged the residents to shelter in place and avoid driving or walking through the water. And this is why I say it comes in handy when you can have things in your home for when they tell you to shelter in place. And plus to have your drinking water, because not only are you not going to be drinking the water from the tap, you're not going to have water to cook or clean with. The issue is not just all of the rain that's falling down, but the fact that parts of Florida underneath the ground is limestone and that water is going upward. So with the water going up and then you got water coming down from the sky, the water has nowhere to go. Hallandale Beach officials said a family lost their son during the storm, but later were reunited with the help of local police who were able to find the young boy. They didn't say how old he was. A woman was driving to work. She said that she spent 5 hours stuck in her car, Hallandale Beach Boulevard and US Route 1 because of the flooding. Now, here's the thing, and I haven't gotten to it yet, but they knew that all of this rain was coming down. And the worst thing that any state could do, because South Carolina did it too when I was living in South Carolina, when we had, I think it was a tornado that was coming and people were coming in from Charleston to Columbia area where I lived and going further past Columbia into North Carolina, they let everybody off work at the same time. They typically do it during tornadoes, and they do it when it's going to snow, and they're not used to snow. So they let people go at the same time instead of staggering people leaving their job. So everybody's on the road at the same time. What that causes is congestion. That means you're going to be stuck, whether it's from the rain or just the cars in front of you. Now you're in a situation where you're not safe at all, where you might have been safe had you just stayed at work. The lights were out at multiple intersections, and there were already cars that were stalled and abandoned. The person said, I've never seen it like that. They must not be from there, even though it says they're a resident. Along with the heavy rainfall, the storm system also brought an EF1 tornado on Wednesday to Hobe Sound, located in Martin County, about 35 miles north of West Palm Beach. The governor declared this state of emergency for Broward, Collier, Lee, Miami-Dade, Sarasota counties. Riding the heavy rain and floods has affected the operational capabilities of critical infrastructure, including major interstates, roadways, schools, and airports. See, these people walking through the water here where they tell you, and they may be trying to go to higher ground. That might be the case. But if that's not the case, you need to try not to be in that water, because what you don't see is whether there's a manhole cover missing. And a lot of people have lost their lives that way. They've been sucked into that spiral. So you don't know where you're putting your feet. And plus, you don't know what chemicals are in the water. Sewage is definitely in the water. So it's a lot happening from this picture, from what I can see, because it looks like the water is continuing to rise and probably into their homes because it looks low-lying. So the severe weather also forced school officials in Broward County to postpone the demolition of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School building, where they had that shooting of 17 people were killed back in 2018. So I guess they were going to demolish that, but they had to put that off. Collier County School District officials announced that summer school and childcare programs will be closed on Thursday due to the abundant rain causing localized flooding. Flooding at bus stops and on streets caused hazardous conditions for students and staff transportation, according to the district. Fort Lauderdale mayor declared a local state of emergency, citing excessive rain and flooding. City officials said the heavy rainfall led to high water on the roads across the city, adding emergency management staff were deploying high water vehicles and vacuum trucks in the area. They're trying to pump the water out. Let's see. The city saw preliminary rainfall total of roughly 9.58 inches on Wednesday, making it Fort Lauderdale's 8th wettest day on record. Oh Lord, what did I do? Hold on. Here we go. Let's see if y'all can still see it. I apologize for that. So they got all of this water in a short period of time, which does not help. Mind you, they could get a little bit of rain and they're still going to have some flooding, or they're going to have high tide or whatever come in, and they're going to have that flooding. It says heavy rainfall over the last 48 hours totaled about 12.8 inches, making it the 9th wettest two-day period of the city. The severe weather led to over 600 flights canceled. The delays across two of the region's main airports. At least 334 flights in and out of Miami International Airport were canceled, and there were more than 287 flights canceled in and out of Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. Now, they say while their state is no stranger to the drenching rain, heavy rain events are getting even heavier as the world warms. Several more inches of rain are expected through the rest of the work week from a broad to disorganized area of storms stuck over the state. And that's what hurts, because when I was in South Carolina and we had that 100-year flood or whatever they call it, it was like the rain just would not leave. It was a slow moving system, and it didn't help that all of that water went into places that weren't being kept up. Dams were not being kept up. So they started breaking, and that made the situation even worse. Double-digit rainfall totals are likely in parts of Florida by Friday. Double digits, y'all. But a few areas in Southwest Florida could approach 20 inches. The southwestern Gulf Coast of the state, from Sarasota to Everglades National Park. And that's another thing you need to be aware, that it could be some alligators up in that water, and definitely snakes. So you take a risk either way, I guess. But bursts of intense rain outside of the highest risk areas could cause flash flooding, especially in urban and poor drainage areas. It's always the urban and the poor areas that's not getting what they need. Flood watches are in effect for more than 8 million people in South Florida, Wednesday through Thursday night at the earliest. Gulf moisture continues to stream over South Florida, where the Weather Prediction Center has issued a level 2 of 4 flood threat overnight, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. An additional 3 to 6 inches of rainfall is expected to fall across southeastern Florida, including Miami and Fort Lauderdale, through Friday. Rainfall storm totals over a foot are possible across much of South Florida, which is equivalent to over a month to several months worth of rainfall. So that rain they got all at once was like 30 days of rain. And there's no way they could handle it. I don't know if any city could handle that, honestly, with the way the infrastructure is set up and needing new pipes and drainage and all this other stuff. Where's that money coming from? Who knows? Y'all like how I ask a question and answer it too? I do that all the time. So, y'all, please hit the like button. The flood risk will increase through the week as storms unload drenching rain over the same area day after day, causing rainfall totals to climb, soils to saturate, and area waterways to swell. Now, back in 2021, they got so much rain. This is not in this report. It was in something else that I read. They had gotten so much water in Miami that a building or two started collapsing because the ground was so saturated. Things begin to shift, y'all. Let's see. They said that there is a silver lining because they are going through a drought in some parts of Florida. So half of Florida is experiencing abnormal dryness or drought conditions, with the worst drought center in the bull's eye for the heaviest rain. So hopefully that part will be, fixed. But I'm sure everybody else is like, okay, I'm over this rain right now. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up. Oh, and June, July, August, and September are generally their wettest months of year for much of Florida. So I'm going to pull up this video. Thank y'all for coming in. I appreciate it. Hold on, I can't see. There we go. It's just like a 31 second clip. It's 31 minutes. Oh no. So let me share that. But before I do, let me put my banner up. Is it this one? Okay. Here's that one. Turn my volume up. Okay.
Miami is considered the most at-risk city worldwide due to rising sea level and storm-related flooding.
We're going to get 2 feet of sea level rise by 2060. By 2100, we might get 6 feet of water. The water is coming.
Already see 20 days a year, the water is higher than the land.
Water is coming from the side, from below, from above. Miami got to decide, how do we solve the issues of sea level rise?
that's something y'all, I would really recommend y'all watching, because it was very interesting how they did that. Because when you look at it, it's going to show you how things shift, not just the landscape, but the fact that people, for one, China has bought up, and I hate to take it there, but China has, and they mentioned this, I think it was this documentary, it might have been a different one, but a lot of real estate is being bought up, and it's being bought up by China. And then what's not being bought up by China is being bought up by really wealthy people, okay, millionaires. And what they're doing is, how, they want to have that beach view, that ocean view. They want to be on the beach, but they know that the water levels are rising. So the people who aren't directly on the beach, middle class and beyond, below, they're further back, a few blocks back. So they're looking ahead, like the guy said, 20, 60, 20, whatever. They're looking ahead. They're buying up the property that these other people who live 2, 3 blocks back are living on, because by then that'll be the new ocean front. So those people are going to be displaced, because it's being bought up by a lot of investment companies based out of China. And I mean, it goes really deep, but I'm not going to get into that in here. I just want to let you know that there is a state of emergency that is happening in Miami and several counties throughout Florida. So do what you can, because just because it's Florida does not mean it can't be your neck of the woods, or someone neck of the woods. Please share this video out with them. Me and my husband, we had a conversation before we moved to North Carolina, that after we watched that documentary, and I don't know if it was that one or another one, but when we watched it, it also talked about, with the water level rising, the shift in, I don't know a lot about geography, but the shift is going to be there. And where Myrtle Beach is now, all that water is going to be covering all of that part. It's going to go all the way up past Sumter, because there's Myrtle Beach, Conway, Sumter, was little, cities in there, and then Columbia and stuff. So that water is going to move up, and everything's going to shift. So that was the reason why he wanted to move higher up. Even though I miss South Carolina, I would love for us to go back to South Carolina. But that's just something to think about. So thank y'all for coming in. If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. Pray for those people out there that they'll be okay, that, we won't hear any crazy stories. I didn't dig any deeper to see, what was happening today. I pulled the story up last night. But I thank y'all for being here. Let me recognize y'all at the end. I know people don't, they're like, why you do all of that? Because I really do appreciate y'all coming in, because you didn't have to. So I want to thank Mac, my Renaissance grandma, Irma, I think I'm saying your name right. Teresa. All right, let me do it like this so you can see your name. My Renaissance. Irma Lanier. Teresa, thank you for coming in. Thank you for hitting that like button and sharing it out. Hey, Rhonda. Yeah, prayers for everybody having to deal with that. I haven't even checked the weather, and I have to go down to the beach area in South Carolina for this orientation. And while we're there, I told my daughter, it's like, do you want to go to the beach? And maybe we'll go to the beach and just chill out for a little while before we come back here to North Kakalaka. Hey, Willie, how are you? Welcome in. Thank you From Chicago. Okay. Okay, Chicago. Hello, Eddie. How are you? Hey, Happy Mac. Good to see you as always. Got Renee in here. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Diana. Okay. Hey, Alberta. How are you? Hi, Bonnie. Hi, T. Hey, Teresa. And if you have a YouTube channel, just put in here, I have a YouTube channel. Maybe somebody will go through the comments and check out your channel, and support you as well. Because I know it's hard out here for a content creator. Mine too, Patricia. Hey, Janet. Oh, okay, Janet. Thank you. I appreciate it. When the rain leaves, here comes the mold. You see, I have been in a flooded home is never ending nightmare. Yeah, because when it flood in South Carolina, Boomer, even it really hit the wealthier areas, but it did hit a lot of other people too, because when Lake Murray had to release water so that their area wouldn't get flooded, all that water traveled so many miles through other communities, right in people's backyards, and flooded their homes as well. They had their things sitting outside trying to see what they could salvage, ripping out drywall, flooring, and then you have the mold, like you said, and especially in the heat of summer. It does not take long for anything to mold. So that's a lot. And then you got to think, if you're about to buy a car, make sure you're doing a check that car has not been in a flood. Okay. Because they will resell those cars. Like I saw some people I see and I go, did you really have to drive that expensive car out there? Because people struggling right now. So what better way? I can't afford this car payment than to have your car out there in all that water, so the insurance company can write it off. And I mean, I think they was driving it looked like a Bentley or something. I'm like, who does that in all of that water? Yep. So it's a lot. But thank y'all for coming in. Hey, Retrita, how are you? Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. So y'all take care. Let me go check on this dog. What time is it? Oh yeah, I got to go pick my daughter up from work. I can never sit down long enough to do anything. Thank God I had some leftovers from last night, because I'm not cooking anything. I am not cooking anything. Yeah. They really do get it. Like when it's high tide and stuff like that, even people that's 2-3 blocks back, depending on that water rising and coming in, that water is going all the way back, and all you see is suds and bubbles running down the street. Because I have had the pleasure of being down there during a really bad storm. We were staying in a hotel though, and I tried to go out before the rain started to get us something to eat, not knowing the area and knowing I don't like driving at night. And it was not night, but about to be night. And that was the worst experience I had ever had, because the water was coming in, I had to reroute. And when you don't know someplace and you're rerouting, your GPS will take you someplace you don't want to be. So that was the worst experience ever. So I try not to drive at night. So it's okay, if I start doing this travel thing, in my SUV or whatever, I'm not going to be doing a lot of nighttime driving, period. But It is what it is. Thank y'all for coming in. I appreciate it. I enjoyed talking to y'all, but now I got to go pick my daughter up from work. So y'all take care. I'll call you.